This is my 8th round match against Alex Keach. He's actually here with me after the match for commentary.
Yeah, happy to be here, Luke.
Yeah, you can take the mouse and do your deck tech. Tell us all about it.
Rightio, so I'm playing a pretty standard Bant mid-range deck.
So it's like is it pod theme majorly?
I think the major theme is just mid-range and good stuff. It's a deck that wants to get ahead on board early with your mana dorks and play creatures that are solid 2-for-1s and just grind your opponent out with
and maintain your advantage with counter spells.
Maintain your advantage with removal spells for their key creatures and counter spells for their key spells.
Okay.
And just after getting ahead early.
Yep.
So pretty much I start off with the instance, so that's not where I'd normally start. We've got 3 real strong removal spells 2 strong removal spells and Bant Charm. So we've got Swords of Plowshares, Path to Exile, both very flexible, both instant speed. Bant Charm. Bant Charm is actually a very interesting card in the deck. It's very flexible, it deals with a lot of problem permanents and cards that we have, like artifacts or definitely problem in the mid-range mirror.
Yeah, you want to kill that Jet Ale Clamp.
Counter spells are fairly standard, obviously using a point for mana drain. It's a very strong card.
Yeah, so there's no remand here, like 1-0 remand.
No, I don't play the remand. It's very considerable. I've considered playing it many times. I've had it in the deck multiple times. It's just cut in this particular iteration.
Yeah, like why?
No room, essentially. I didn't feel it was high impact enough in the matchups I wanted it to be. It's there for interaction against the combo decks, because any deck that's faster than us, or when we're not on the play, counter spells are significantly worse. And remand only answers threats temporarily, and against the combo decks I want to answer them permanently. So Brainstorm, just the best. It's just very, very good.
Yeah, self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory. Lingering Souls, very good threat. Greenton Zenith, very utility.
Yeah, so you're playing 4 colours for Lingering Souls.
Yeah, I play 2 black sources in Bayou and Underground Sea, and also Noble Hierarch and Deathray Shaman can produce black, plus a large amount of fetch lands means that I never really have a problem flashing it back.
Okay, so no scrubland?
No scrubland. White's the least play colour in the deck. There's a lot of green and blue, and there's a lot of double blue in the deck, so having a card that doesn't tap for either blue or green is a real problem. There's only one card in the deck that does that, and that's Plains, and I've considered cutting that for that reason multiple times, but Blood Moon's too much of a thing.
Well, you've got double white for that Elspeth down there.
That's the only double white card in the deck.
Okay. So your 3-point card is Soul Ring. So
yes.
The Bant decks, will they have a choice of Time Walk, Soul Ring, or Mox?
Yeah, Time Walk, Soul Ring, or Mox is pretty accurate.
So you've gone Soul Ring.
Soul Ring is more powerful than a Mox, and
you can hit those massive 4-drop Planeswalkers on turn.
And also it's better to search with the Trinket Mage, which is a card you want to be running in the deck anyway.
That's the way I feel, yeah. I was fishing for that answer.
I've considered running Time Walk.
You don't play Snapcaster.
I'll probably be playing a Time Walk list next week. I'm going to try it out. I think they're very close in power level.
No, definitely.
I think Time Walk has a slight edge because using Callous Mana is hard for this deck to do when you don't have either Birthing Pod or one of these Planeswalkers here.
Yeah, are you going to replace the
Soul Ring? And
as in, like, if you replace that with Time Walk, are you going to add an extra Trinket Mage target?
It'd have to be Sensei's Top. I'm not sure how keen I am on it. I'd have to try it out. Maybe I just cut a land and play like a Tree of Tales.
Oh, yeah.
Because Trinket Mage is so good in the fact that it gets Skull Clamp, which is such an important card for this deck. Because you have all these mana dorks which are in the late game dead, and being able to cash them into 2 cards. And
yeah. What about a Curse Scroll, or is your hand always full?
You generally want your hand to have some number of cards in it. You want to be ahead on board and holding up counter spells or removal spells to protect your board state.
Okay. Alright, moving on.
Planeswalkers.
They're all pretty good.
They're all the 3. I don't play Garruk Wildspeaker because it's just not as good as these 3, essentially. And I feel like Birthing Pod is a far, far, far more impactful 4-drop.
Alright, let's go down to the dudes. So you got lots of mana elves to ramp out your big guys early.
Yep, 7 I feel is the correct number. Some people play 8, some people play 6. I like 7. I feel it gives you them enough at the time, but you don't see too many of them.
You got a couple toolbox creatures in. Voice of Resurgence, that's not main deck, is it?
That Voice of Resurgence is not main deck. I have no idea what that's doing there. That's not supposed to be there. Ignore the voice, everyone. So
I don't understand it.
A bunch of value creatures with Enter the Battlefield triggers for both Restoration Angel and Birthing Pod, including Stoneforge Mystic, Kitchen Finks, Blade Splicer, Trinket Mage is over here, Vendilion Clique. Thrag Task, of course. Tarmogoyf is not main deck either. There's some mistakes with this list, apparently. Off the top of my head, the two missing cards would be...
Whatever. Let's people get the gist.
People get the gist of things, hopefully.
Let's move down.
Move down a bit. Okay.
That's mana base.
Land base. There's the Underground Sea. There's the bio. Everything else is pretty stock standard, except for the Yavimaya Coast, which we just want because it taps for blue and it taps for mana dork on turn 1.
Yeah, I've said it a few times, but I love how pain lands get played in Highlander.
Yeah. It's terrible. You have to play it. But I think you do.
It's excellent that you have to play it. It's good.
Indeed. And
so you playing any filter lands?
No. Filter lands don't tap for mana dork on turn 1. I would play the green-blue filter, but this deck is... You've got a very specific game plan in mind. You want to be casting mana dork on turn 1 into... And having double blue available for all the numerous spells in your deck that are double blue.
Or maybe the Mystic Gate, the blue-white one would be okay. Because
you never want double white.
You don't have to cast Mana Elf off it.
Yeah, but you want most lands in the deck to cast Mana Elf. Like, the only lands in the deck that really don't... I think it's 5. I think it's...
Tundra, Hallowed Fountain.
It's Tundra, Hallowed Fountain, Underground Sea, Plains.
Yeah,
4.
Yeah, and you got the full complement of 9...
and Island. Yeah.
9 fetches?
Full complement of 9 fetches. I wouldn't consider running any less. In fact, with the 2 black sources, it's almost possible to run 10th, but I don't think it's worth it.
Okay.
It's you never want to blank on it, and those lands aren't lands you want to be getting in the early game anyway.
Yep. Alright, so down to the sideboard here.
Down to the sideboard. Basically, I'm running about 4 cards for each matchup: control, aggro, mid-range, and combo. The combo cards are Spell Pierce, Nature's Claim. Like everything's multi-purpose.
Yeah, let's just talk about the cards for this matchup, maybe.
For this matchup, I have Highlander Archmage, and...
I'm playing Scapeshift, by the way.
Yeah, Luke's playing Scapeshift this week, and I have Highlander Archmage, which is obviously very good. It counters your tutors, and it counters the Scapeshift, which is the real problem card. Everything else I'm not very easily deal with, but I'm not too afraid of.
Yeah, you can overwhelm.
But the Scapeshift just kills me on the spot, and you have 6 ways to get it, including itself.
I'll count them when I do my deck take.
Indeed. So definitely the Highlander Archmage. Sylvan Library, it helps me dig for counterspells, which, as I've said before, I really need, because Scapeshift just kills me on the spot.
Yeah, and I don't really... Scapeshift doesn't pressure you that early, so you can pay a lot of life.
Yeah. Indeed. That's precisely it.
So those walls against Zoo, I know we're talking about Scapeshift-specific cards, but they're interesting. I like them. Yeah,
the walls for against Zoo. And White Weenie sometimes, although you generally don't need them because they don't play enough. You bring them in when White Weenie's on the play, even on the draw.
Okay.
So other cards against you, nothing else is specifically targeted against you. You're not really a thing I had in mind when I built the deck. I brought in the Submerge in some of our games because you do have a lot of large creatures that I want to be able to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's also free and allows me to just play a 0-cost removal spell and keep applying pressure while I'm maintaining counterspell mana up.
Yeah. Alright, so we move on to my deck now?
Yep.
So here's my Scapeshift deck. We're using mtgtappedout.org's spoiler format, just mixing it up. This is from the usual text format. Basically, I ramp up with all these ramp spells you can see down here, and then I try and get to 7 lands and cast Scapeshift, which you can tutor for with various tutors, Grim Tutor, DT. My points... Beseech the Queen. My points are DT is 3 points, Grim Tutor's 1 point, and I've got Time Walk. It's another ramp spell. That's 3 points. And it also turns all my tutors into ramp spells if I've already got a Scapeshift in my hand. I'm losing my voice a bit. A sweeper, because I haven't got any early drops that die to it, and huge fatties that Alex just mentioned. I've made an effort to make them all Jace the Mind Sculptor proof. That's my choice criteria, basically. So people question Skeletal Vampire sometimes and Quagnoth. Yeah. Here's the mana base. Lots of lands. I think 28 lands.
28?
Yeah.
Wow.
I need... I've got 11 mountains for the Scapeshift. And here's my sideboard. I've got a few spot removal dudes against aggro. Aven Mindsense is the one that I really want to kill, but you don't play it, do you?
I don't. It's a card that I've considered having the board multiple times. The problem is there aren't enough combo decks or it's not a value creature.
I'd say it is.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to disagree on that point.
Okay. Think of Mind Sensor against your deck.
It's very situational, is what I would say. It's either amazing, or you're paying 3 mana for a 2/1 flyer, which is limited playable, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, Kasai Primage is a 2-cost 2/2.
But Kasai Primage has a lot more upside, and there's a lot of very good artifacts and enchantments floating around in Highlander.
And there's a lot of very good search cards floating around in Highlander.
That's true as well.
Anyway.
And I can see how you steered me into that.
Yeah.
I walked right into the wall, so to speak.
Anyway, let's move on to the game, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.